Hello everyone, it's Graham Cofe with another My Music. Now, today's interview is quite special because I'm going to be speaking to Mollie, but this isn't actually the first time I've spoken to Mollie. We tried to do this before, and so some of you might have seen a little trailer for this, and anything that's in that trailer will not be in this interview because I'm not doing it again. No, that's daft. So what we're going to do, we're going to play this little video, then we're going to come back, we're going to have a chat, and it's all going to be diverse and lovely.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Mollie, we got there in the end.
Hello.
Hello. How
We're
the
here.
devilment are you?
How the devilman?
Yeah, it's an interesting term. How the devil, how I sometimes say how the peppermint are you, and then I combine the two, and then it's how the devilment are you?
Oh, okay. We'll
Yeah,
go with it.
yeah.
I'm feeling devilly. I'm
Cool.
also feeling minty. So
Minty devilment. Right, I'm going to
exactly.
start today by giving you a chord. Here we go.
Oh my god.
There we go. That's a lovely chord.
No, I can't hear it. I think you've got like when it cuts out the low volume. Make it louder. Oh, I kind of heard it.
There we go. I don't know what
That was
that chord
nice.
is, but that will be in Mollie's new song when she learns it. Anyway,
It
there we
sounded
go.
like a minor seven, maybe.
It's a minor seventh G sharp flat fire Yale. Yeah. Do you know what? You just reminded me of that actually many years ago because I don't know anything on. If someone asked me like the rudimentary chords on the guitar, like I know a G and a D and whatever, and once your fingers start moving beyond that, I have not a Scooby Doo's what it is, right? And so it's just all of that. And many years ago, I worked with proper musicians in a band, and then people would ask me, what key is that song in? And I would always say Yale because Yale make keys. And I just feel that that's a great answer for any musician out there. Where if you haven't got a Scooby Doo's, just say Yale.
That's your bit. That's your comedy bit.
It's not even funny. It's just
It doesn't have to be funny. That's your bit.
yeah. It's just what to say, isn't it? If you haven't got a clue,
I'm just honest, and I'm like, I don't have a clue because
Yeah.
I don't either.
Do you read music? Do you do all of that stuff? Do you?
I could when I was younger, but it's like one of those things where it's like if it's kind of like a language, if you don't continue doing it, it just you forget it all, or at least I did.
I was just never quick enough. You know, I think I've said it on here before. When I was young, I was tortured into playing the recorder at school.
Oh, everyone did the recorder.
Oh yeah, right. But beyond like London's Burning, do 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 do, which is relatively slow. As soon as it sped up past that, I couldn't keep up, and so I just used to sit terrified in assemblies, pretending and miming along. And fortunately, there was a whole group of girls there who were really, really proficient at recorder, really fast. And I just like pretended I could play. But it drove me. It actually drove me to major anxiety. Talking of which, you write a lot of songs about anxiety.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Why? I mean, presumably because it's lived experience for you.
Yeah, but why? It's probably more like it's like a way of getting my anxiety out by writing about it in a
Yeah.
way. because I don't really like talk to people about my emotions. So that's my way of dealing with my anxiety.
So rather than sit in a room with one person having a heartfelt chat about it, or
That's uncomfortable.
or going to see a therapist about it or whatever, what you'd rather do is write about it and then stand on the stage in front of a whole load of people and talk about it, and find that a lot of people understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, because like, let's be real, who actually goes to therapy? I feel like that's an American thing. I feel like no one does that here. I also feel like the NHS is so rubbish. Like, it basically doesn't exist, even though it
I'm
technically
glad you
does.
stopped yourself from swearing there, but yeah.
But like, it's when you're on stage and you're talking about it, like the people that come to my gigs also are really, really like full of anxiety. So it's like I'm talking to a group of friends, not random people. So it's comfortable in a way. Like
I
I
know,
wouldn't want
I
to sit
love
in a
it.
room and talk to my parents about anxiety, but
I
I'll
know.
do it to a crowd.
It's almost, yeah, and I love that about the way that you bring it up as a subject at a gig and make people feel instantly comfortable about it. And it's almost,
Yeah.
you are quite funny as well, I think. And you actually, I like the way you kind of almost play with it as well, in that it's like, and here's a song about anxiety, and here's another one. It's like,
Yeah.
there's three in a
A
row.
roll up. Basically, yeah.
One day, do you think one day you might throw a curveball and like throw a song into your set there somewhere where you go, actually, this one's about, and it be just completely random and be about something that's um no, I don't think you will. I don't think you'll ever write a song about something boring and mundane, really.
Oh, well, the thing is, like, I've tried to write songs about other things, but like, um, I feel like I don't really care a lot about things that a lot of people write songs about. Like, I still write songs about other things, but I feel like it's not the songs that I personally resonate the most with. So that's not. So that they kind of got left in a folder somewhere, and I never put them out. And then like the songs that I play, and people are like, "Oh, I really like resonated with that," or like that one was my favorite when you played it because I related to it. They're the ones I end up putting out, and it's always the ones about like anxiety. So it's
I
give the
take that.
people what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. The Thurston, who's listening, makes a really good point. Actually, he says that sounds like how most musicians project. They gain an audience by projecting what it is that they're feeling inside, etc. And then, Alanis Morissette, which I don't think you spell like that, it is a good example. But
I
that's
actually haven't heard
that's her
Alanis
cousin.
Morissette. That's so bad of me as a musician.
You haven't
Um,
heard Alanis Morissette? Yes, you
no, no,
have.
no. I've heard of her. I don't think I've listened to her music.
Well, isn't
And
it ironic? Don't you think? You have heard that.
oh,
You have heard
okay.
that. Have you not? Have you never heard?
I've heard of Alanis Morissette, but I've not actually sat down and listened to Alanis Morissette. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the starting point for Alanis Morissette is the classic album Jagged Little Pill, which is her kind of angst album where she's going through turmoil with relationship, and there's some songs on there which are very, very blunt, let's say that, about how she feels about this particular person that she's breaking up with. um,
Mm.
so you've got ironic, and you've got things like oh, you've never been a great speller. But well, no, nor have we knew what you were talking about anyway.
I
um,
wouldn't have known that it was spelt wrong.
who was an influence for you musically?
Like the biggest one, or like
Yeah,
just some.
who's the yeah? Well, yeah, they can be quite a small person, but a big influence.
Well, depends what kind of thing we're talking about here, because the inspiration for me to become a musician, like I'm not gonna lie. Do you know who 5 Seconds of Summer are?
Mm.
Do you?
Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what I know? I've got a funny story about this. So I'm going to tell my little funny story,
Okay.
and then you can tell me about 5 Seconds of Summer. My wife's mum, who's now popped off this mortal coil, bless her. She died very young. Before she went, the last Christmas that she was around, she brought all of our kids annuals. And she clearly had just gone to a shop and bought all of the annuals that had been reduced in the sale and gave them to the various children. And one of them was a 5 Seconds of Summer annual, which she gave to one of our lads who's just gone to university now. He's started this year at Bristol. And we reminisced about it just the other day because he went, I still don't know why Nanny bought me that 5 Seconds of. I mean, he was never into them.
That's
He's
so
more.
random.
I know he's more likely to listen to sort of Queen or Deep Purple or something like that. That's
Yeah.
or David Bowie. He's a massive David Bowie fan. But Nanny, bless her heart, bought him the 5 Seconds of Summer album. So we all know about 5 Seconds of Summer from that
Oh.
beautiful little publication.
Oh. That's
And you're now
nice.
going to tell me
I
that
would have
five
been
seconds of
jealous.
sun, 5 Seconds of Summer did it for you.
Actually, so I'm not really that much into them anymore, but when I was about 13, I was really obsessed with them. And I always played music as a kid, but I kind of like fell out of love with it from having instrument lessons because I didn't like being forced to do it. But when I got into a little emo phase when I was like 13, I heard a song by 5 Seconds of Summer and I was just like, I need to play this because I really like the song. And that's when I picked up a guitar. So they were like the kind of main influence of starting music again and kind of making music. But in terms of like actual inspirations for my music that's out, I would say probably a lot of it is artists like Easy Life, Remy Wolf, um, who else? There's so many. Claro. Um, there's like an endless list. I literally can't even name them all, but they're probably some of the big ones.
You more
Bedroom pop.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you're more influenced in a way then by people that are slightly to the side. They're not, these are not like mainstay artists for per se. But so you always
Yeah.
look for something a little bit quirky in your music that as a listener.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm into. I like some artists that are really big, but I genuinely generally resonate with artists that are a bit smaller because they're not. Um, I like lyrics that are more like intricate and more about specific topics that would the mainstream wouldn't relate to. So that's why the artists that I really love are maybe not as big. But I
Mm.
wouldn't say I'll go out of my way to find quirky music or make my music quirky. It's just
It just
the
happens that way.
artists, the artists that I like aren't that big. Yeah, and it's probably just because of the themes that they talk about within their music.
What comes first for you? The chicken or the egg? No, what comes first? The lyrics or the music?
It's like when I'm writing or like when I'm listening.
Well, I assume when you're listening, in a way, it's kind of a mixture of both because it kind of emanates out and it kind of hits. And presumably if it doesn't resonate with you lyrically, you kind of switch off from it. But when you're writing, is it do you sit and scribble all of the time? Are you a constant scribbler of little words, etc.?
Well, actually, I would say that I actually don't listen to the lyrics of a song when I hear it until about the fourth time listening to the song.
Oh, really?
Uh, So, like when I hear a song, I've got to like it audibly first, and it's got
Yeah.
to satisfy that for me to listen to it a couple more times and then be like, "Oh my God, that's what this song is about. What the heck?" Um,
Have you ever got that very? just intermitting into the middle of that very quickly. Have you ever got that horribly wrong? Have you?
Yeah.
I love that in a way.
But people always say that about my music, and they always come up to me like, "Oh, when I first touched your music, I thought it was so happy, and then I listened to it a few times and realized that you're really depressed." And I was like,
That's nice, isn't it?
so true. So true. Thanks for listening to the lyrics, because not a lot of people do. But when I'm writing music, I write the music first and then get the music sounding how I'm feeling to try and emulate in a sonic way the emotions that I want to portray in the lyrics. And then I will
The lyrics come from that.
They'll just flow out, do you know what I mean? Over the top. So it's kind of like both.
Cool. But that's actually the opposite way around from a lot of artists who perhaps have kind of a lyrical idea first, etc.
I think it's because I'm also a producer, so I don't just write the songs, I make the music, and I like structure it and kind of like fill everything else out. So it's kind of like an all-in-one process. And I don't make the whole song and then write the whole top line. It's like sometimes I might make the musical part of like a verse or a chorus and then write lyrics for that part and then move on to the next part and write lyrics for that part. It's not the same every time.
One of the things that I was intrigued with watching you live was that sonically, you like certain sounds on the guitar. And I was worried for a minute or two that you might actually dry up in terms of difference of sound as we
between
go
songs.
Between songs, right? But actually, you managed to hold that together incredibly well, because there's a subtle but enough difference in terms of the way you structure songs to make it so that it's like, oh, this one doesn't sound completely the same as the other one, right?
Yeah.
So but you clearly love, and I just want us to get a little bit geeky here for anybody that is really into all of that malarkey. You clearly love your pedal effects, etc. Yeah. So what are you using there? Are you a bit, definitely kind of, there's a chorusy noise in there, but if you've got a bit of phaser in there as well, what are you doing?
So at the moment on my pedal board, I've got so this is the chain, compression, chorus, reverb 1, reverb 2. So the first reverb is like it's a Polara. It's been discontinued, but it's a really good pedal.
It's safe. What's the matter with people?
You can still get it secondhand, but it's really good, and it's got like loads of different nice presets and a reverse effect, which is what I use it for. And then the second reverb is a Hall of Fame reverb, which I use for shimmer reverb, which is kind of like the more like long tail, airy, spacey reverb. And then and then just a delay.
And then just a delay. Yeah.
So
I love that.
Bit chorus and reverb and delay.
If somebody out there who was feeling generous, a guitar pedal company, was to create you a pedal that for Mollie to play around with and become her pedal, what would you add into it? What would be the ultimate kind of sound that you would be looking for?
Oh, I just don't have much money, so like.
Well, no, that's why we're trying to get sponsorship, right?
There's a pedal brand called Generation Loss, and they have like lo-fi pedals that I've wanted for so long. They're all so cool. They're like analog pedals, and they all make
write this down.
Really
Generation
cool.
Loft.
Lost.
Generation Lost. Okay.
No T. Generation Loss.
Oh, Generation Loss. Well, that makes sense. Yes. As in every like in recording, every time you record something again and again and again, you lose. Yeah. Right.
But they have loads of cool pedals, so I probably want to do something like that. And because in my recordings,
Is there a favourite pedal in their collection that you would really love if you had all of the money in the world? Because we're going to mention it in the bump for the podcast as it goes out, and I'll go and tag them in. And if they're feeling generous, you never know what might arrive in the post. Just saying.
it's called like the MKII. Oh no,
That's a
it's
Mark II.
the Generation Lost MKI. Yeah, MK2, not MK2 because it's got a two. But
Mark II.
I've just realised Generation Loss is the name of the pedal, not the brand.
There we go. So we need the brand at some point. So you let me
I
know
got
what the
them
name
the
is.
wrong way around. It was Chase Bliss Generation Lost.
Right.
Chase Bliss is the brand. Generation Lost MK2 is the pedal. But that's like that, or either that or like Big Sky are my like dream pedals. If I had money, I would actually go and buy them, but I can't. I
Well,
can't.
we need people to give you money so that you can buy pedals, so that you can do all of this stuff, etc. So
True.
Thurston saying, "How are you selling your music? Have no fear. When we were young, we were all poor." What Thurston's saying is now that he's older, he's got money. He'd like to give you some. If you could tell him how you're selling your music, so that you have a tape available.
I do. So like all my music's on streaming. So it's obviously on like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, etc. But then it's also
Bandcamp.
it's also on Bandcamp. So like it's available in higher quality on there. And then I also have cassette tapes, which no one my age appreciates, but that was, you know what? It doesn't matter because people still buy them.
I think people are, I saw a stat, and you work, you were telling me just before you came on, you work for an independent record label. And did you see the stats earlier this week for the rise in vinyl sales for the past year?
I didn't. What did it say?
58% increase.
Really?
In the last year in the
Wow.
UK. That's just,
Yeah.
I think
Everyone
people
loves
are getting back into it.
Yeah. I need to get my music out on vinyl, but again, can't afford to. So
Yeah, but cassette's just so much easier, isn't it?
yeah, I love a cassette. Not everyone does, but I like them. So my music's out on cassette.
This behind me, by the way, is the My Music. I need to send you an address so you can send me something for this. But this is the My Music Wall of Fame, and down here, I just added it the other day because I just found it again. Is, if I can pull it off because it's pinned to it, is the very first. Oh, there we go. Look how bad this is. This is you're going to make you laugh as well. I'm going to see if I can get the camera up there as well. So you'll have a complete appreciation of this. This was me many years ago when I was 20. All right, so it's a long time ago. It's 30 something odd years ago. This was me in a band called The Colourful People. Now, clearly, we were shit at marketing because what we decided to do was have black and white photos taken of ourselves when we were in a band called The Colourful People. And then I found just the other day, here we are, the first cassette tape that we put out, which was neatly produced on, I think, a Microsoft Publisher back at the time. There you are, The Colourful People. All in black and white. All in black and white again. And then it says on the inside of this, there we are. It tells you on the inside that recorded at EMP Studios, which is up in Newcastle, I believe. It tells you who the engineer was, etc. There's a telephone number if you want to book us. But they are 1991. Look at that.
Nice.
But I think cassettes were great because you could once you had the master tape, you could just knock these stuff out at home. Yeah, it was nice. Thank you. Vinyl has been on the rise for 10 years. Why not on CD? Haven't had cassettes for over 15 years. You just have to go and buy a cassette player again. I've just done it.
Yeah. But no one buys CDs anymore. So,
Well,
like,
that's a lie,
if I was to
actually.
put, no, it isn't. Like, people my age don't buy CDs. No
No,
one owns a CD player. They've stopped putting them in cars. If you
it's
put your
it's
music out on CD, you're making a loss on money.
it's people like me that buy CDs because we're of a certain age and we just like to have these disc things. It's because they make great coasters as well. When you're at work, you can use them on your desk as
A
coasters.
CD?
Well, you can do, yeah, if it's rubbish. Um, only if it's a bad CD. I mean, otherwise, of course, you
Point
wouldn't.
proven.
Yeah, of course, you wouldn't use it like
Get a
that.
CD and use it as a coaster. May as
Well,
well buy tape.
I don't need to do that because people send me coasters there. Look, the Rocket King sent me their
Oh,
coasters the other day. So did Iron Maiden and Burning Shed, who of course are an independent record
oh.
company as well. There we go. So I use proper coasters. You played with Ellie Dixon. That was a great experience going around the country, etc. Who would you like to play with next, going around the country?
Oh, it's such a big question. There's so many artists that I'd love to support. Um, there's an artist at the moment that I think is really, really cool. She's called Neve Alla. I think it would be really cool to support her. I think her music's great. And there's two lovely women in the band, which is important to me.
Tell me about that. Why is that important to you?
Because a lot of bands just have men, and I don't really want to support a band with all men. Mainly the fact is, I probably wouldn't have a lot of fun on the tour if there's only men there. It's different vibes. I feel like you've got to balance the energy out.
Yeah,
If there's no female energy, it's bad for me, and I wouldn't want to be on a tour like that personally.
I like that. I get it. I mean, you obviously played when you were playing live. I saw you with a male bass player, so maybe he's got good female energy as well. Keep it in balance. He
Yeah,
seemed like a nice guy. I mean, we had a chat afterwards. He seemed like a lovely guy. So,
yeah, it's
but
lovely.
do you feel, on a serious note, probably between both the music that you make and also, as a musician, but also doing what you do in your day job? Because I've been talking to a lot of artists about this recently. Do you feel women are still desperately unrepresented in terms of music?
Um, I would say there's statistics that the thing is there's statistics that show there is probably the same amount of female musicians out there, yet the amount of male musicians and male producers that are getting the support from record labels and the artists that are making the most money and that are getting in the charts, they're mostly men. Um, there's like probably not as many women making music because the representation wasn't there for them when they were younger. So, for example, me when I was younger, the only representation I had in the music industry at that time was big pop stars that make music about sex. Do you know what I mean? And that isn't something that I wanted to do. And a lot of people would see that if that's the only representation they have in music and the music business and producers, there's just like no representation there at all. Like, how are you supposed to look up and then be like, I want to do that as my career? Because it's made very clear to you from a young age that that is not something that you are able to do because there's no one to look up to there. So yeah, there is definitely a lot of underrepresentation for women in music and in production and in studio engineers and mixing and mastering engineers and within the music industry. And it's changing slowly, but the pressure needs to be put on the people in the powerful positions to make those changes and to put women in power and women in positions where they can have more success. Because at the moment, the women are there, they're just not being given opportunities that their male peers are. So it's
Do you
difficult.
feel like you're gravitating towards other female artists, etc., that are trying to have a voice to change all of that? I mean, I've had two artists on who started or are key members of Pop Girls. Have you heard of Pop Girls? Yeah.
No.
So we've had Cola, who started Pop Girls Scotland, which is a group.
Oh yeah, I have heard of pop. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Josephine Stiller as well, who's been working with her, trying to make some change happen within the industry. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's vital that you've got kind of those groups happening, and that, you know, for people like me, I feel like, you know, if I've got an opportunity to represent more female artists on a program like this, or put stuff out there and make people more aware, then it's something that needs to happen, you
Yeah.
know. And I've seen it myself, just from, say it, working with PR companies and management companies. It's like, would you like to interview this male band, or would you like to interview this, you know? And it's like, well, I'm trying to source people myself sometimes, and then sometimes it's like, sometimes I've even had it where, like, I've spoken to some bigger female artists, and management have been like, we're going to be really picky as to who we're going to let interview them. And it's like, but why are you making that decision? Why is the artist, why as a female artist can they not make that decision?
Yeah. It's hard because like there isn't it's the men in the industry who make the decisions because the men are the people in power in a lot of positions currently. And if the men don't make themselves accountable for their decisions, it's not going to change. So it's really important for people who have power to make use of their power and create opportunities for marginalized genders because they're the people that are in the positions of power. So if they don't create opportunities for women and non-binary and trans people to move up, it's always going to be men in power. And it's not an issue of, oh, like there's not enough women. Like the women are there, they're just not getting the opportunities, especially in my age group. There's so many like upcoming um people who are working in the music industry and want opportunities, but there just isn't any being given. And maybe I shouldn't say this, but a lot of people in the music industry only get their jobs because they know someone. And a lot of the time, they're just like rich kids who know someone in the industry and they just get the job like that. So, and a lot of the time, they're guys. So it just doesn't create space and opportunities, and those opportunities need to be the space needs to be made by men in power for people to come through. And if they don't, nothing will change.
I think you're absolutely right. You're right about some of those people not knowing anything about music, by the way, because I've had conversations with some people up up there about various bits of music, and it's like, never heard of it, never heard of it. You
Yeah.
think, like, you know, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be wonderful if people in charge of an industry actually understood the thing that their industry's built on?
Yeah.
Just imagine how much better it would be if, like, people that were giving the people music actually loved music.
Be
There you
great.
go. Be great, wouldn't it? There you go. And you also, you are fabulous promoter of, you know, doing things right and sustainably, with producing all of your own merch in a sustainable way,
Yeah.
which is good, because, you know, year after year, we must be seeing more and more people buy band T-shirts and stuff like that, which would just end up going to landfill. Personally, I have bought a lot of band T-shirts. I'll have to hold my hands up to that. And
So have I.
but actually, I do wear. That's all I wear. So I've
What are you
got
wearing today?
I've got a Macy Peters one on today.
Oh, lovely.
Which I was sent, which was rather nice. Look, I was good to you.
Nice.
There you go. Here's a question. What's the name of your band? Mollie doesn't have a band.
Maybe I should have put that as my name. That was a bit
Yeah.
silly of me. But it's Mollie Coddled, and I'm a soloist. But I play with a band live. But the lineup changes every time because I just use session musicians. Because I don't like having people have creative control over my music.
Yeah. But also that must make it quite fun as well to see what people bring to the table when they play. Or do you how controlling are you there? Do you instruct them entirely and say like the bass line for this is this, or do you say, look, this is what I'm playing. I'd like you to be quite innovative over the top of it, and how structured is that?
So, like, when you get a session musician, usually they just play the track how it is. And depending on the setup, they just learn the song.
You have the recording, you give them the recording, that's it. Just try, so if you look for Mollie Coddled, then you'll find Mollie Coddled on all good streaming platforms and the bad ones as well. There you go. Oh, you want the way to do this, Mollie, is we can do it like this. All right, so that here we go. Look at this. This is technology for you. Boom, boom, just like that.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that nice? You see, now you're scrolling along at the bottom of the screen in a beautiful, beautiful way. But there we go. Yay. So do look up Mollie Coddled. But the best way, as we were saying earlier, is go to Bandcamp and spend lots of money. All right.
So true. Support the music.
If you go to Mollie's website, which is it molliecoddled.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, molliecoddled.com. Go there. You can buy a T-shirt. You can buy a tote bag. You can buy the tape. You can fill your boots. Basically,
you can watch all the music videos that I made myself.
You can watch all of them. Yeah. How did you do that?
How did you do what?
How did you make all of the music videos yourself? That's quite difficult. Like,
Oh, well, sometimes I've got like the help of like a friend or like my mum.
It is Mollie, as we've spelt it there down the bottom.
Mollie. It's on the bottom of the screen.
I think what we're going to have to do is build you more of a brand, so that for people that are like not aware, it's really easy. And maybe you love a nice little theme tune, right? Because as we mentioned last time, you did play when I saw you did play the theme tune to a certain kids TV show from America. Maybe you need your own like little indie TV type tune or whatever that you could play before everything, and then people could find you with that. That would be great, wouldn't it? You could almost have Mollie Coddled TV as well, which would be good.
Never seen anyone have their own little theme song, but that could be something that I would actually do. I think I could get behind making a little theme song and then coming on stage to it every time. I think I would enjoy that. I might actually do it.
I've misspelled your name, have I?
No, that's spelled right. That's spelled correctly on the screen.
That is it. Yeah, I think something like the theme to Friends, but for you, would be good. Dun, 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 dun. So no one told you Mollie played just like this, and that would be brilliant. Mollie Coddled.
Next time you see me play, I'll be coming onto a theme song.
That would be excellent. That would be excellent. I was going to ask you before you go. So you've got these great pedals that and you've got this great sound. is there any kind of sound or music style or anything that where you wouldn't go? Is there anything that you would say is off limits for the kind of Mollie type sound, or would you experiment in any particular area?
I think I wouldn't want to put myself in a box like that, but there is limits. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I'm going to be going into like drill anytime soon. So, I mean,
Well, I had Bishop on, who's had a couple of top 40 hits yesterday, and she said she would probably, her music's kind of more R&B, kind of pop flavour, whatever, and she said she'd probably avoid heavy metal and maybe definitely screamo. But so you're avoiding drill. That's yeah.
I
And
think that would be
maybe
safe.
yeah. I can't see you kind of doing anything like the Searchers or anything like that as well, or
I don't know who that is.
really old band, really kind of I can't see you that. Where I could see you going at some stage is when I was really young. We had a bossa nova Bon Tempi organ, right? Which when you played it, it used a fan in order to get the notes coming out in a kind of vibrato, right?
Yeah.
And everything was dum, 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 dum. It's like Girl from Ipanema. But I could see you using some kind of like old-fashioned keyboard, like retro keyboardy kind of sound at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I've got organs in some of my songs anyway. So,
yeah, I know, but like really kind of naff, kind of.
I mean, I do own. I bought. I've not actually put in any tunes, but I've got like an 80s Casio keyboard with like loads of silly sounds on it, and yeah, I did buy that with the intention of putting it on some tunes, but we'll see. Maybe sometime soon.
The other thing that would be good from an audience participation point of view is if you did your theme tune would be to get everyone to buy one of these as merch. You'd probably have to try and find bamboo ones to make sure that they were sustainably sourced, but would be to get everyone in the audience having one of these little beauties. Right?
I love a kazoo.
Right? And have kazoo as part of your theme tune. I could see that working. Could see that working a treat.
So, such a good idea though. I might do like merch kazoos. I would totally do that. I actually would.
Be great, wouldn't it?
Put my little name on it and sell them for like $5. Capitalism.
Are you Mollie Coddled? I don't know. You'd need to come up with some kind of little saying on it as well.
No one's a real Mollie Coddled fan unless they've got a kazoo.
I think that would be absolutely perfect. I knew this would be a beautiful meeting of chaotic minds today, and I thank you so much for your time. And there will be some lovely little clips that come out from this, which won't be the same as the initial ones that we put out either. I know, it's just fantastic, and if you're Mollie's employer, that little damp patch up there needs sorting out. All right, in the back.
You want about that?
That there, yeah. That's salt that's coming through the brickwork from outside.
Oh, lovely.
That's damp from the outside. There we go. I know about this because we're in a 140-year-old building here ourselves.
Oh.
So listen, have a great 2024. What are your plans for 2024?
Release my next project, which is almost finished. So that'll be coming out. And some singles before it. I'm not giving anything away.
Oh, not giving anything away. Well, no. Why should you give it away? Get people to buy it.
You can buy it when it's been announced.
Yeah. Don't give any.
Follow on the Instagram.
Get people to buy your music because guitar pedals are expensive.
So true. Can't afford that generation loss MK2 without you buying my music.
I'm going to look up the Generation Loss Mark II. We're going to tag the company that make it into this. We're going to pester them for the next 6 months to make you one of their sponsored artists, and so that you get one.
Please let me have one. I can't afford it. I would use it every day on stage.
That clip right there is going out. Fantastic. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Mollie. Carry on doing what you do. Love your music. So engaging. If anyone's never seen Mollie live, do go and see her. She will absolutely rock your world in terms of a live gig. It's fantastic.
Yes.
And please do support her by downloading, buying all of her merch, music and stuff like that. If you've enjoyed this today, please share it with your friends, family, your dog, your cat, your tortoise even. If you haven't enjoyed it, you're an idiot and I don't like you anymore. And you can go. Bye. Walk away. Until next time, when I'll be back with more artists. Bye for now.